Just like my life, next door is under construction. This session of Monkey Bar is brought to you by incessant noise. That's all that goes on in my head when I'm not drinking. Hey guys, I'm Admin, aka Monster. This is Monkey Bar. Today we're making whiskey sours. Everyone loves a whiskey sour, and I like drinking whiskey sour. What do you need for whiskey sours? So you're gonna need whiskey. You're gonna need simple syrup, and we all know I like brown sugar. We need citrus, so lemons and limes. Putting the sour in the whiskey sour. And what makes a sour is egg white. So anytime you hear a cocktail that's a something sour, that means it's got egg white in it. Protein from the egg white lends this really nice foam, gives your cocktail a frothy, velvety texture. Pure egg white. I'm gonna show you guys how to separate a yolk from the egg white today. This is also just easier, especially if you don't have anything to do with your yolk. These yolks are going to be turned into a creme anglaise today. The other vegan option, aquafaba, so bean water. You can actually buy this dropper and bottle from places like Cocktail Emporium. It's like concentrated aquafaba. You add a few drops of that into your cocktail and it functions exactly like the egg white. So like any cocktail, you're going to want to sweeten it to taste. Figure out how much sugar, simple syrup you want in your own cocktail. I'm gonna put about half an ounce because mine is a rich simple syrup. Again, another secret from Monster. Anytime a cocktail calls for lemon or lime, I put in both, always. You're getting multiple levels of flavor, more complexity, and more depth. Why would you use one when you can use two, right? If you guys have never made simple syrup before, it's really, really simple. You put water in a pan with some sugar, equal parts, 1-to-1 for a regular simple syrup. Or again, mine is a rich simple syrup, so I've used 2-to-1 with the sugar. That allows for more control of your cocktail and the amounts. So I put half the amount typically that would be in a cocktail of a normal simple syrup. And I have way more control of how much is in my glass, how much is in my shaker, especially if you're making multiple cocktails in one shaker. I mean, you really only have this much room to make anything. You throw it in a pan, saucepan on the burner, bring it to a boil, and then it's basically done. If all the sugar has dissolved into the water, you have yourself a simple syrup. Also, simple syrups can be not so simple. This is bartending secret, and you can impart any flavor of anything into your syrups. Mine is a vanilla demerara sugar simple syrup. You can make mint syrups, sage syrups. If you guys are gardening at home, #quarantine, you can throw any of your garden herbs into your syrup. So you can make a mint syrup, a sage syrup, a mint sage syrup, a basil syrup, anything you like really. A jalapeno simple syrup. So if you guys want to make a flavored simple syrup at home, super easy. Throw in whatever you want to impart into the syrup, bring it to a boil, let it simmer for 1 minute, and then let it sit off the heat for half an hour. And then, of course, strain whatever was in the syrup with your sugar and water out so that you just have the liquid. If you leave the ingredients in with the syrup too long, it can become astringent and bitter, so you really just want to get those out as soon as all the flavors imparted. All right guys, so let's start making our whiskey sour. As you can see, I've got 2 whiskeys here. Canadian Club, classic Canadian rye. Canada is known for our rye, it's excellent. When you're making cocktails that have a lot of other elements to them, you're not necessarily trying to showcase your liquor. So the whiskey sour, we've got all the citrus, there's going to be sugar in there, there's going to be the egg. It's not really important the product that you use. However, I like drinking, so I can really tell the difference in my whiskeys. Jack Daniel's is my absolute favorite whiskey. It's similar to a bourbon. It's a sour mash. I'm not going to go into the differences between sour mash and bourbon right now. Jack Daniel's is a sour mash. It's my absolute favorite. I basically drink it like water. It's got notes of banana. It's so tasty, and it makes my favorite whiskey sour ever. Hot tip, if you don't like drinking, Add amaretto to your whiskey sour. You can do equal parts. You can do 2-to-1 whiskey to amaretto if you just want a super delicious cocktail and don't like a sweeter drink. You can also just replace your syrup with amaretto. However, that's neither here nor there. Let's get making. I'm gonna do the first one with rye, and I'll do another one with Jack Daniels. Whiskey! Gonna make 2 as usual. So I'm gonna put 4 ounces of liquor in here. That may have been 7, I don't know. I like drinking. So, to separate your egg yolk from your egg whites, crack the egg. Not like that. Oh yeah, baby. Eggs have tan lines. These two are tanning together. Are we rolling? Take your egg, crack it nicely. Don't destroy it. Just like that. Split it in half, and you've already caught the yolk in 1/2, so let the white, it'll kind of fall out itself anyway, and then you just pour it into the other half. So I've still got my yolk in there, and the rest of the egg white fell out. Just gonna dump that out one more time for good measure. Bartending pun intended. And then the yolk is separate. That's gonna go to use later. Hot tip, if you get any shell into your egg whites, just actually use the shell to scoop it out. It's the best thing ever. If you cook eggs in the morning, you probably know that already. And you probably also know how to crack an egg. Use about 1 ounce of egg white per cocktail. Egg whites do kind of measure themselves out. Actually, they like to stick together. So they are usually just about 1 ounce each. Like, I basically have nothing left, and that's 2 egg whites, and I've got 2 ounces of egg white in here. It's gonna go in. Gonna do my citrus juice, so lemon and lime for depth of flavor and complexity. Lime brings a little more brightness to anything that just calls for lemon. Yeah, gotta get it all out. Also, you guys will notice I don't really tell you how much citrus to put in, and I also don't measure it. It's mostly because I don't care, but also mostly because everybody's got their own palate and own taste preferences. Cocktails are made to be balanced, but we all have our own tastes. We like things a certain way. Like if you've never made a cocktail before, you want an exact amount. I just use like a whole citrus per cocktail. I've done 1 lime and 1 lemon. Don't ever use pre-squeezed lime juice. Don't ever use pre-squeezed lemon juice. Don't ever use bar lime. Just don't do it. I already said I'm fancy. I don't know what to say. I don't use those. Taste it, test it, see if you like it. Now for the dry shake. So when you're making a sour, when you're making anything with egg white or egg, you want to do a dry shake. It activates the proteins. I don't know, it's science. Science rules. Later video, we'll talk about flips, which actually use the whole egg. We won't talk about that now, but whenever you have egg in your cocktail, you want to give it a dry shake. What that means is you shake it with no ice in it. That really gets the proteins in the egg to kind of fluff and aerate, which is what gives your cocktail that velvety, frothy texture. So. So, as you can see, that frothed up real nice. Real nice. Spoon responsibly, as usual, children. GoFundMe ice scoop. Definitely forgot the sugar, guys. It's okay. Got the dry shake, can always add in. Really, all the dry shake needs is the egg. You can just put the egg white in by itself and dry shake that. So, mine is a rich simple syrup. So I've actually put in about 1.5 ounces for 2 cocktails. Cocktailing is like cooking. Do what you feel. And you can always add more later if you haven't added enough. Always err on the side of caution when you're cocktailing. Less liquor, less citrus, less sugar, and you can always add more back in. Let's get loud, let's get loud. Song should be called Let's Get Lit. Let's get lit. Let's get lit. Make the cocktail up and drink that. Shh. You guys will notice that it's brown. It's because of my simple syrup. Once again, I don't care because it's delicious. Put it in my mouth. I'm not using the nicest glassware. I'm not using appropriate glassware. It's fine. The cocktails are still delicious. You can put your drinks in anything you want. Do not feel married to the idea of having to buy a Coup, buy a Collins glass. You know what I mean? Just if the drinks are tasty, they're tasty. I am garnishing this cocktail with lemon and lime because there's lemon and lime in it. It's about as fancy as we get. Up in the monkey bar, double garnish. Olé! Little bit of lemon in my life. Little bit of citrus for my wife. Oh. It's frothy, it's garnished. And it is delicious.